Hello everyone, this is Fantastic Worlds, and I'm introducing you to a new type of episodes, the Interludes. Now these are going to be episodes that focus on lore, characters, and other aspects of the game, as opposed to the straight-up combat story, that sort of thing. In this particular case, since we've just encountered an agent of the Phoenicians in the term of the back at the last episode, I recall that Kirsten had dialogue about that. So I'm taking this opportunity to take my corporate mandated break and come back here and speak to my fellow employees at the Illuminati and see what information I can glean from them. Occasionally you're going to have other people coming in and out of the office. She is a busy woman, so let's see what Kirsten has to say. First, tell me about yourself, Kirsten.
I was an ordinary valley girl. Major in human resources, daddy in real estate who paved our driveways with his gold cards and shitty cologne. Rest in peace. Until one night in the hills, a couple of guys who were up to no good fucked with the wrong girl. Frat boy necromancers. Ugh, the worst. Especially when they man up from sacrificing neighborhood pets to abducting undergrads. But they didn't check me for mace or duct tape, and the next thing you know, it's all, "You can't do this to us, bitch, we're Illuminati." Now, I got to thinking, A, if you're a member of a secret society, you should keep that to yourself, even under torture. I mean, seriously, cry me a river. And B, only my friends call me bitch.
I don't think we're friends.
Well, anyway, to cut a long, aggravated assault short, I realized Illuminati clearly needed to work on their employee handbook. Now, I had just graduated, just killed a few guys. I was looking for work placement. It was totally serendipitous.
Well, given how the Illuminati actually works, it could have been a job interview. They send a few people that they really want to get rid of to target a potential member, and the next thing you know, if they pass the test by surviving, hey, you're in the Illuminati.
I mostly deal with the new talent, but the Labyrinth is our organization's brain trust. We bring in key opinion formers from across the board. Government agencies, the Senate, law firms, financial markets, mass media. What you're going to find is that individually, they're compromised by being drama queens or cokeheads or psychos. But try to appreciate the big picture.
The big picture?
They're all part of a vast decision matrix, which you will only be involved in on the trickle-down level. I know that sounds like a submissive sex act, but don't take it personally. We're necessarily big on separation of responsibility. Otherwise, we just lose too much velocity on recriminations.
Okay.
See, back in the day, Illuminati were throwing each other under carriages, slipping rat poison in the absinthe 24/7. Infighting was really cutting into the bottom line. So we had to realign to a corporate model.
Do tell.
Now there are due processes and risk management in place, a second-party group to handle terminations. We've turned vendetta into healthy internal competition. Healthy for the winners.
I see. So, to the victor go the spoils?
The New York tunnels have been around longer than the city. When the Illuminati moved here, we hustled an architect over from Germany to do the sacred geometry of this place.
Okay.
It drove him crazy. He killed himself when the blueprints were finished, but you know how seriously creatives take everything. The design really was future-proof. This is all still the original spaces.
Yeah, did he kill himself, or like the pharaohs, did the Illuminati just have him disposed of once so nobody else would share the secrets?
We've centralized a lot, except the server farm keeps expanding. It's like a map painting from a 70s sci-fi movie. You can get lost in there. The rest of the maze you should be lucky enough to never see. The old detainment block and medical facility, that's questions and answers now. It's mostly soundproofed. Mostly.
Occasionally I assume you hear the screaming.
And some of the old board members keep suites way out in the wings. They're not big on FaceTime. They have extreme health issues, extreme privacy issues, extreme issues. Do us both a favor and stay in the main concourse.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's things down there that are probably worse than the Eldritch Abominations trying to consume the world, but, they're also giving my paycheck.
Oh, I understand you tested positive for magic powers. I'm not so into that stuff. I'm more of a .44 caliber girl. Just ask my ex-husband. Unless they're cleaning out his respirator tubes. But good for you. You're really going to be drinking from the weirdness fire hose.
Hello there.
There's no acclimatization period. You used that up already. In all the time before our recruiter cold called. The world is a super messed up place. And you knew it when you were a kid. Or totally alone, or when you actually thought about it. So you didn't think about it.
That's so true in the real world too, isn't it?
I'm not even laying an ice burn on you. Check me out. I grew up on the alien planet of California, and I didn't think about the Nevada Triangle, or that cult of Kali and Redondo Beach, the West Coast surfers of the apocalypse, and so on.
There actually is a cult of Kali in California. You see, the most messed up part of this is that you're going to find a lot of the weird shit in this game is in real life.
It was easier that way. And in a very real sense, this is the message Illuminati have been sending to the masses. We think, so they don't have to. We take enlightenment for the team.
I'm cynical enough to believe that actually would work. Now, tell me about the Illuminati, Kristen.
You had better not be having second thoughts. I am so not the rah-rah girl. Or if you want an Illuminati history lesson, then you need to understand history is adjustable. It blurs big time. When we tell people what to think today, what actually happened back then is no big whoop.
Yeah, getting uncomfortably close to reality.
Is the future we're building. You're going to see that the Earth is up for inheritance, and the meek are, well, shit out of luck. Only Illuminati have the capital, the network, and the drive for sweet success to really close the deal on this millennium.
So yeah, that's why the Illuminati are fighting against the end of the world, is because they want to rule it. But that being said, it's not quite sure there's anybody out there with less self-centered interest.
If you can keep up with the bleeding edge of a future-focused organization, we can use you in our new world order. If it turns out you can't, then there's room in history's grave for one more fossil. And no one will remember you.
I'm guessing Christian votes Republican.
Yeah, that would suck. So work for us, and let us work for you. Because we're the conspiracy that's bringing sexy back. Have you seen the other guys' uniforms?
We have uniforms? I mean, I'm kind of my casual Friday look here. Okay, tell me about the Templars.
Some Illuminati become emotionally compromised just hearing the name. I'm beyond it now. We're perfect and haters will hate, but I should make it very clear that the Templars started this. Red and blue, we never hit it off. Way before America, that was just sticking a fork in it and twisting. We're about power behind the throne. They want a double throne. We couldn't give a rat's ass what people do, as long as it's what they're told. They're control freaks.
Kind of think that's the same thing, Kristen.
The saddest thing is, they haven't changed. If Templars got their way, which they did for a really long and boring stretch of history, we'd still be out tilling the soil. Good, honest work. Kept safe from this season's evil by the guys with the biggest swords.
So the Templars, of course, are historically linked to the Catholic Church, and she's describing the Dark Ages when the Catholic Church was at its prominent power before the Enlightenment, which basically means Enlightenment, by the way, Illuminati, same root word. Which makes you wonder, was the whole Black Plague that ended the Catholic Church's powers something the Illuminati manufactured?
I've got nothing against judge, jury, and executioner. I loved RoboCop. It's so funny. But these goons with their fascist style guides and hard-on for empire have dated so badly. This isn't a rivalry. It's euthanasia. It's our time.
Yeah, you do know that the different conspiracies are usually at each other's throats, except for the end of the world kind of forced a truce on us.
Talk about a non-starter. I don't want you reading any sign of weakness into me saying we've given up on the dragon, but we have basically given up on the dragon. They're the one that got away from the think tank.
Yeah, the dragon's the third conspiracy, the believers in chaos.
Anarchy is an analyst's nightmare. These guys are completely non-localized, completely independent. The top-down view is an aftermatch report from a game of Twister. One hand doesn't have any knowledge of the other. One's a rogue salaryman in Japan, the other's a hacker in Iceland or something. If we ever lucked out and busted a whole dragon cell, we got nothing. Not a single value proposition our interrogators could usefully apply. It was putting them in therapy. The interrogators. Totally wasted process.
Yeah. It's a little hard to interrogate somebody whose entire modus operandus is, whatever.
At the end of the day, we had to cut our losses. Admit that sometimes a society of crazy town anarchists is just a society of crazy town anarchists. We're still writing off investments to them every year. It's like a ninja tax. So, when you get the opportunity, inflict some buyback.
Okay, so now the actual reason I came back is tell me about the Phoenicians.
The Phoenicians are pirates. I know. When I was first briefed, I was all, what, like Napster? But they're a lot less .com. As an operation, they haven't changed much in 3,000 years. Which goes to show what a growth industry theft and murder really represents.
Sadly true.
And they work hard to keep themselves at the top of that sector. We've outsourced operations to them before, but don't assume that makes us partners. It's a mercenary thing. A contractual thing. Phoenicians don't take sides. Only Swiss bank transfers.
So they're neutral in this particular conflict and only serve the highest bidder. I'd like to believe that, but I think they're playing their own angle now. And after all, they're trying to either add or subtract monsters from Kingsmith, which is a little odd if you think about it. I mean, I think they're taking lab specimens. I mean, it doesn't really need to add monsters to the island, that's for sure.
There's a big diplomatic gray area around them, since no one can be seen openly associating with Phoenician agents, even though they're sitting right there on the Council of Venice, comparing tattoos and prison scars.
Yeah, open secret a bit.
Currently, there's nothing on the table between us, so I really want to encourage negative trust in any encounters. I guarantee you'll meet them soon enough. They have a gift for sniffing out trouble spots. I'll observe and report, and then shanking at the first sign of weakness.
Okay, so Elijah's been dropped down as an observation agent, and they seem to be having mercenaries that are capturing and removing monsters. But on whose behalf? Since if they're acting only for mercenaries, somebody hired them. And since you can act as the one of the three major conspiracies, none of them are going to know what's going on. This means that you've got yet another faction out there. More on that later.
Come to think of it, they'd make great paparazzi.
Okay, anyways, you can't see it from the heat bar here, but the next one is the Council of Venice, which I believe is the closest analogy is sort of a supernatural UN.
If there's one good thing about democratic bodies, it's that they can be rigged. But that's the one good thing. We're responsible adults. We don't need big grandfather checking up on us. In writing. I mean, it's actual letters with wax seals. I'm serious. It's like being door-knocked by Renaissance Fair.
Rigging democracy, a little too timely, even though this was written in 2012.
Venice, the Venusians, whatever, they're a power trip with no power. The peace they think they maintain is a joke. It always has been, and they're the last to get it. Even the Templars hate them. And when the dudes in capes and armor say you're out of touch, ouch.
This is one of the reasons I like Kristen so much.
The reality is that the modern world keeps shrinking, and none of the societies are big on sharing. We pay lip service to Venice laws because you shouldn't make fun of the elderly. Also, they just eat up FUD tactics, and then all of a sudden there's an inquisition or a war in Asia.
So if the Templars and the Venetians aren't the same faction, does that mean the Venetians are linked to Rome and the Templars are a rogue faction? Because that matches the real world. You should go check up what the real Templars were, to a degree.
Any government you can bend is a useful government, but usefulness wears out.
Okie doke, I think that's what we're going to say about Kristen. Now, I have to thank Griff.
I never played change.
Sorry, Griff, who helped inspire this particular run, who informed me about the multiple types of dialogue you can have. I just thought it was one press of a button and you're there, and that's what you got. But let's go talk to our other coworker, the good doctor. I'm sure he's got quite a few stories. Yeah, a little bit mix of both, Doc.
Red and green are not approved colors.
Tell me about yourself.
I went through a bunch of acronyms to get where I am today. NIMH, the CIA, the SAD. I was heading the MKULTRA project during the 80s. This was after it had been publicly shit-canned, obviously. Mind control. Wow, that's a great field. A lot of potential. The big deal inside the agency at that time was extra human abilities. Less of a zero-sum market than nukes. The Reds, industrious little dudes that they were trying to breed their own super soldiers, you know? In Soviet Russia, science makes you.
Perfectly true, by the way.
We took an identify and exploit approach, working with subjects like you, younger where possible, from around the States. A few we borrowed from other nations, and civilian experiments, a whole lot of civilian experiments. We sprayed LSD like it was going out of style.
Again, perfectly true. In fact, Jonestown, if you happen to be familiar with that little massacre, is strongly suspected to be the result of an MKUltra project. I mean, it was very successful. They managed to get like 95% of the population of Jonestown to commit suicide just because they were told to.
Paranoia is a part of a healthy daily diet.
I can believe that.
But there was a ceiling, a very tangible ceiling. After we burned through the first 30 million in research grants, oh boy, accountability, recriminations, constitutional rights, is a real bad scene.
Now, if anybody ever tells you that the prohibition against human testing is outdated, tell them no.
Yes, I'm grateful to the Illuminati for really moving things forward.
There's just no stopping in a white zone.
Do they expect us to handhold all these new hires? It's a total kumbaya here.
Could you keep it down?
This place is something else, man. Wow! You know, I haven't been outside the labyrinth since 2003. I really should check, see if I still have clearance. But I've been so tied up at the office, running the whole spectrum. New inductions, enhanced interrogations, exit interviews.
You really should be hiring more help.
Last call for
You might think that it all blurs into one, but the barbiturate doses are very, very different. That's why I use post-it notes, you know? And medicinal drugs.
I'd imagine you're on a lot of drugs.
It's a completely self-sustaining arcology down here. No one even knows how big it is anymore. Big enough to be a drag on the national grid, man. But it's all purpose-built, though. The architecture mimics, get this, the dimensions of the cave systems used by the Mayans. Gateways to the underworld. Only we get cable down here, too. A lot of cable.
That this place would mimic the portal to an underworld really doesn't surprise me. And frankly, the underworld probably wouldn't be better off with having cable.
Have you ever had an altered state experience under the Yucatan Peninsula? I can simulate the basics for you with an isolation tank.
No thanks. I'm too busy for that sort of thing, and I have no idea what this guy to my right is doing here. I'm guessing he got...
just the tip of the pyramid.
I'm guessing he probably got way too much or whatever drugs he was experimenting with. So tell me about your work, Doc.
I don't really do much in the way of human interfacing. It's not really my department. I know this because they've been gradually raising the quarantine level of my lab to stop people getting in. You're probably not even allowed to be here, man. But I won't tell. You're safe.
Yeah, I think maybe the standard rules are by the wayside during the apocalypse.
Here's the thing. After you view organisms on a macrobiological level for so long, it's like you've read all the spoilers. The exchange of signifiers, establishing the dominant-submissive hierarchy, the pheromonal checks and balances. That's a lot of work to go through for a conversation, am I wrong? There are considerably faster methods to facilitate information transfer. Just ask Kirsten Gary. No, don't. I really don't.
Probably best I don't know what that means. But he's actually correct about that when it comes to the macrobiological. More on that later, perhaps.
I'm only only here to do my part in shuffling the illuminated towards a higher mental level, spiritually scientific level, man. Yes! Although you're fascinating. Long dormant senses reattuning, sectors of your brain, ancient memory sectors are growing. Wow, man, all thanks to that bee in your bonnet.
He's not kidding. Remember, the spirit that's attached to us is a bee, and it is literally rewriting our neurological processes to connect directly to Gaia. And like I've said before, we are not a human being anymore.
If we could only just pry that little sucker out and ask it a few questions. Oh, well, try again.
Something tells me that went poorly. Okay, tell me what you know about the secret world.
You got a lot of new, conflicting information about reality to take in, man. I'm almost jealous. Your mind will try to reject it for as long as it can hold out. Well, that's just learned behavior. That's a passing thing, man. Don't worry about it.
McLuhan Project. Report to...
It's very liberating to feel those old behaviors giving way. Thought connections stretching like chewing gum and then snapping. There's a small risk of triggering some deep-rooted psychosis, but overall, those cases are rare. They're really, really rare, man. Nothing judicious application of ECT can't shake.
Electroshock therapy, ECT. Let's look that one up, because EST is electroshock therapy.
Humans are so eager to accept rational explanations. When I worked for the agency, we sure massaged that eagerness. Exploited the hell out of it. We pumped a lot of stuff into the water supply too, man. Woo! A lot of stuff. Oh, but don't worry about it. Just then while you were unconscious. You're good, dude.
What about that?
Lawyer?
Now you can witness terrible things. Things that a month ago, a week ago, might have blown your rational mind. You can do terrible things too. Although you don't have science and magic to thank for that, man. That's all you, baby.
I can believe it. Okay, Doctor, tell me about our place of work, the Illuminati.
So since before science was science, man has explored many different paths to enabling the full human potential. Medical, natural, occult, yada, 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 yada. All of them operating within set boundaries, or as I like to think of them, speed bumps on the highway to success.
Okay.
Limitations. What we should or shouldn't do, how far is too far. Oh, wow. Talk about losing sight of the end goal, man. That's what makes this organization so appealing. That Illuminati are big enablers. The New World Order isn't about removing freedom. It's about delivering, forcefully delivering, man, the opportunity to achieve, for us to reascend, to really work that top spot on Darwin's ladder.
I see. So sort of a forced evolutionary pattern here, sort of in objectivist point of view to some degree.
This is a very exciting time and place to be a scientist. I didn't show any hesitation in accepting their offer. They really didn't need to threaten me at all, man.
Okay.
Great power requiring great responsibility isn't a cautionary tale, man. It's a tragedy. But we're beyond that, man. Way, way beyond that.
This is just
Okay, so...
the pyramid.
Okay. So, yes, let's see what he knows with the Orochi group. That would be our favorite friends, the incompetent men and women in black.
What can I say, man? Some advanced R&D groups get all the breaks. They're a private company, no audits or regulations to waste time on. They cherry-picked a think tank out of the best universities and government agencies and war crime tribunals in the world.
War crime tribunals?
All the money that group makes off Saturday morning cartoons and tablet computers, GM foods, daisy cutter bombs, all that goes straight back into tech.
So what you're saying is they're more evil than we are?
And no sense of humor. You think we play hardball? Oh man, let me tell you, we work with Orochi, work around them, work on them. And I've been part of some accelerated encouragement programs, but they do not slip up. They must have a great internal review process, man.
They're more ruthless than the Illuminati?
Well, until now. Sure, any dimensional dirty bomb you can walk away from is a good one. But now, everyone's going to be looking at the Arachi Tower and asking, what have they been building in there? Oh, and I, for one, cannot wait to find out. I'm grabbing popcorn for this one, people.
Something tells me we'll probably be able to tell him that. And yeah,
I'll see you at the Omega Point.
Right. At the end of the world. Now, you see all these sample containers here, the Cthulhuoid monsters? Yeah. That's how many Zun has to play with, and that's probably just what he has on the table. Probably gets entire vaults of those things down below. Now, I happen to find another friend down here. Give me a moment. Oop, that's the entrance where we were dragged in, if you recall. I don't really use that one because, you know, the warehouse entrance is much more convenient. But yes, we have a control room I didn't know about. And he's Senator Cicero overlooking... Oh, hello. Overlooking apparently everything. Alright then, Senator. Tell me about yourself.
My name is Henry Cicero, and I am your personal voice in the U.S. Senate. You need something to be made law? I am your man. My loyalty to the Illuminati is absolute. Your lawyers made damn sure of that.
I'm trying to imagine what the non-disclosure agreement is like with the Illuminati.
Now, some might debate my loyalty to the people who voted for me. But democracy is not about serving the interests of every simple-minded Joe Schmo out there who, quite frankly, has no idea what's good for him. No. Democracy is about getting shit done while maintaining the illusion that the people's voices are heard. You guys understand that?
Okay, yeah, this was written in 2010. Yeah, it seems so timely, doesn't it?
You know, I really like you guys. And not just because you know how to hold your liquor. You've got this pulling the strings from the shadows act down to an art. There isn't a single decision-making body left in the country where the Illuminati don't have any representatives. And yet nobody knows who you are. If you don't like something, you get someone to change it. If you can't change it, you buy it. And then change it anyway. Kudos, my friends. It's the American way.
So we are Amazon.
The secret world and me, we have the most perfect of arrangements. I get all the perks and none of the pain. I'm invited to all the parties. I get to fight my battles in the relative safety of the Senate. And nobody's relying on me to save the world.
Don't really think you're capable of that.
And let's not kid ourselves. That last bit, it's a good thing for all of us. I don't know how you guys do it. I can only count on the fact that you do.
So, yeah, that's our representative in the U.S. Senate, and probably not the only one. Okay, one other thing. Well, I'm talking to my audience. Yes, I know I'm broadcasting live from the secret organizations, but considering how awful your security is, I don't think you should mind, and I'm about to demonstrate how terrible your security is. Now, you notice that when I go to Agarthia, I've got to go past this front entrance here, which is wide open. Now, if, say, someone were to set up directly in front of that entrance, they,
you know, walk into the sunrise together.
They might be able to keep track of the coming and going, as if, you know, you'd want to keep an eye on the secret organizations, or not secret organizations of this world. And who? Oh, the Morning Light. Strange how they keep popping up now, isn't it? Now, I even picked up a pamphlet to describe their organization. Embrace the light. What makes us human? Spirituality. Humans have the unique ability to change from within, to be better, to be happier, to reach the next level of existence. What is the next level of existence? Humanity is chained to old prejudice, old fears, old institutions. The next level of existence is a revolution of how to be happy, how to be beautiful, how to bask in the morning light. What is the morning light? It is the answer. It is the first light of a new dawn. A new age, you might say. It shows us how to change the world and reach for the sun. How bright is your future? It's up to you. Philip McCard and millions like him have learned how to release their inner potential. The new dawn is coming. Embrace the light today. Yeah, not cultish or creepy at all. And they even have this delightful personality test.
Welcome to the Morning Light Personality Test. Let's analyze. The questions are designed to peel back your constructed layers. Please answer as openly as you can.
Which of the following
Let's find out who you really are.
Are you done? Thanks. Which of the following best describes your attitude towards plastic cutlery? Convenient, inefficient, cheap? It's a marvel. I'll say inefficient. Which of the following would you most rather not do? Sit through poetry, read a book club, see a psychiatrist, go to a baseball game? Probably the poetry. It puts me to sleep. When's the last time you cried? I can't remember. Which city would you like to visit? Warsaw, just because it's the one they least expect. Would you least like to visit? Warsaw. Which would make you the most anxious? The first day of a new job, waiting in line for a roller coaster, asking a stranger for the number, making a speech at a wedding. None of these, but I'll just randomly pick one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Dead. Well, that's honest. I'll be exactly where I am now. I can't imagine exactly where I want to be. Which of the following do most interest you? Power over language, visual beauty, obscene wealth? I want none of it. None of it, I say. Which color represents yourself? Black. You are burdened with secrets. They feel you cannot trust those you work for, that they are too much and give nothing in return. No warmth, no light, no love. This isolates you from your fellows and in time begins to isolate you from yourself. You must break the wall of silence. You must speak us and tell us everything. You must learn what it's like to be free. Yeah, they're totally not trying to mess with the Illuminati, other secret organizations, are they? So yeah. I think we need to take a closer look at those hippies back in Kingsmouth, don't you? But until then, this is Fantastic Worlds from the Secret World in Lovecraft Country. Wishing you a good day. I'll see you next episode.
You will see the dawning of a new age. To be a monarch or a beggar. To lose everything or to become a god. To stand with us or against us. The choice is yours.